Although I travel a lot, I love clouds and everything, I am petrified of trying it, right? But you have been training to become private airplane pilot. How did you get into that? And what goes on in your mind while you're up there?
I've always loved flying since I was a little girl, and I always wanted to fly. And then in 2003, I went up in a tiny little glider plane at this tiny little airport in Wardsboro, New York. It's upstate New York, and I think it's the oldest airport in the United States or something. Anyway, so when I had that experience, I was like, this is something I want to do. Like, I want to be a pilot. And back then in 2003, I was thinking to do it there. They were actually training there in 2003. But it just wasn't really convenient with my work, with my job to make it happen. And then when 2020 rolled around and we started having all of these restrictions, and then 2021, and
Yeah.
they were saying, they were saying you can't fly. And I was thinking, you know what? If I was more independent, if I maybe had my own pilot's license and I had my own plane someday, there could actually be a possibility of me being able to still have the freedom to go where I want when I want, should more restrictions like this happen in the future. So as soon as they were all lifted, I started my training, um, my pilot's training, and I have almost 10 hours of flight training, and you also need ground instruction. So, that's everything from learning about the weather to checking the aircraft and making sure it's in good shape before you go and fly, and all of these like very important details. So that's how I got into it. And what is it? It's such a great question. What is it like? What do I think about when I'm up there? You know, it was,
Yes.
it was amazing. It's like when you're up there, that first of all, the the aircraft is so small that it almost feels like it can become an extension of you, an extension of your body. I feel very much at peace up there. I feel like it is the most peaceful place to be and the safest place to be. It feels very elegant. It feels very um, just sort of like what do I want to say? Maybe like delicate. There's something very feminine about the experience of flying. Isn't that
I
funny?
never
I don't know.
associated the flying with femininity, but I can see it.
What's interesting is I never did
It's
either.
lovely.
Yeah. And
But
so I never thought of it as feminine either. Like like even the experience, when you're going on a commercial plane, everything's kind of rough and it's kind of like, and it's very male dominated, 'cause
right, right,
I don't think I've ever
right.
seen a female pilot. I'm sure there have been, but I never saw one. Yeah, it feels very sort of like almost dainty. So I had the far out dream to someday have my own property with a private runway and hangar to store my aircraft of the future.